Hi, my name is Dana Sardano, and this is the Ubuntu Room. I am so glad you're here. Thank you for joining me. For those of you who are new to what I do, the Ubuntu Room is a place where we talk all things personal empowerment, all things spiritual development, and everything that falls in between. It's where we recognize that the power is in our hands to create the lives that we desire, and that personal empowerment and spiritual development are actually very much intertwined. And each of us on our own journey of self-discovery falls somewhere on that spectrum. It's my hope that by having these conversations, maybe I meet you where you fall, and perhaps we travel together. So today we are talking heart chakra, the Mac Daddy of all the chakras. So important, so powerful. The last couple weeks we talked about the foundational chakras, the root, the sacral, the solar plexus, all about safety, security, empowerment, creativity. And when we have a balanced foundations in each of these chakras, we then have an open, loving heart chakra. Now the heart chakra is represented in green. It's right here, located in the heart space, obviously. Excuse me, and the greatest age of residence is 21 to 28. So when we have, again, the balanced foundational chakras, we can then have an open heart, love without condition or expectation, free of resentments, feelings of gratitude and forgiveness, compassion. However, when it's built on a faulty foundation of self-doubt, guilt, shame, fear, instability, insecurity, we then carry resentment. We may lack compassion. We may love with conditions. We have transactional relationships that don't allow for a deeper connection. The reason the heart chakra, the health of a heart chakra is so important is because it is truly the portal to all things magical. So if you take a look at my shirt and you see, I always have trouble seeing below my boobies, but if you look at the foundational chakras, again, the root, sacral, solar plexus, and then the heart is right in the middle, the portal, and then above you have your throat, third eye, and crown. It's truly the center of the foundation and then the upper magical chakras. And when your heart chakra is out of balance or stunted in any way, it affects them moving forward. Stunted heart chakra, your throat chakra, which is all about speaking your truth and living authentically. If your heart is tainted with fear, you can't speak your truth. You can't live authentically. Your third eye chakra is your area of clarity and vision and intuition and imagination and discernment. If your heart is tainted with fear, your discernment becomes judgment. Your crown chakra is all about your connectedness and your compassion for all things, your non-attachment, your sense of oneness. Again, broken record, heart chakra tainted with fear, you become attached to your old story and attached to your pains and attached to things that no longer serve you. You lack compassion and you have difficulty connecting with all things. So I cannot overstate the importance of the health of your heart chakra. Now, there are three aspects of the heart chakra that I want to dive into a little bit today. The first one is gratitude. It's just to be grateful and appreciative of what you've got. Now, you could do I do 5 things I'm grateful for a day, or I keep a gratitude journal, or on Thanksgiving, I'm grateful for all things. But I think gratitude goes a little bit deeper than that, because it's easy to be grateful for an ice cream cone or a puppy, but to be grateful for the stuff that is unpleasant is a more challenging assignment. To be grateful for the suck while you're in the suck is something that is difficult for many of us to do. But when we have a little retrospection and we're able to really look at all experiences as something for us to learn, to grow, to expand, or to even enjoy, we could then begin to have gratitude for all the things, even those that have wronged us, or even situations that have brought us to where we are. So gratitude is so, so powerful. The other one is compassion. To be able to have compassion for all things, again, is another challenge. But when we are free of the pains that we carry and the imbalances from our traumas, and we become aligned in our foundational chakras, our ability to have compassion opens up. I want to share a little something with you. It's minor, but I want to share it. I brought this deck of cards. So back in the day, I used to mess around with the oracle cards and tarot and stuff like that. And I used to use this deck all the time. It's called the Crystal Mandala Oracle deck. It's absolutely beautiful, so I highly recommend it. But there was this card that I used to pick, or when I picked it in a spread. It's called the Inner Queen. And when I would choose this card, I would get all excited because I'm like, ooh, I'm the Inner Queen. Because I didn't truly understand its message, even though it comes with a little booklet and it explains, but I didn't understand the magnitude of this card. And the message in the Inner Queen is, and again, it is, or not again, but to understand the Inner Queen, it's not just for women. It's a feminine energy that both men and women can carry. And it is about healing ourselves, releasing the judgments, and the ability to have compassion for all things. And when I realized that, obviously, a few years later, a little bit of wisdom, rear view mirror perspective, I understood that I didn't understand the Inner Queen because I didn't yet embody that. And now I have it with clarity. So, find your Inner Queen, but understand that compassion is essential for our own healing, for our own peace. And the third one that I want to touch on is forgiveness, because you can't have compassion without forgiveness. Now, forgiveness is a challenge, especially when you still carry pain and you still carry hurt and you still feel wronged and victimized. But again, by doing the work, by overcoming, the ability to forgive comes easier, compassion comes more fluidly, and we find peace in our hearts. Now, it wouldn't be an Ubuntu room with Dana Sardano if I didn't share a little story, but I've talked about my mother ad nauseum, right? About how I didn't have a relationship with my mother, and she went to the grave with a bitter estrangement and all that. But I had spent many years after trying to find forgiveness in my heart for my mother. And it was a challenge, to say the least. I've talked about my father. I was estranged with my father, and that relationship was rough, to say the least. But my father came to me a few years before he passed with hat in hand asking for forgiveness. And I forgave him once. We built this beautiful relationship, and I had the love in my heart. My mother, unfortunately, went to the grave without having done that. So I had to take the high road, essentially, and find the forgiveness without that olive branch. And I did. Until I became triggered again, until the yuck came up again, and I realized, I didn't completely. And then I did again. And I joke, I did this 50 times and counting and still had some yuck for my mother, because forgiveness is hard. I'm not going to pretend it's not. About a year or so ago, I had a dream. I woke up from this dream. I don't remember the details, and I'm not going to put you through that. But the feeling I had when I woke up was, oh my God, it's time. I have to put this to rest for good. I have to forgive my mother. Now, I always understood that my forgiveness was more about me than anything, and it was really a gift to my children so I can, break the cycle of abuse and neglect and all those things and pass on a different direction for my children. But what I realized in that moment was my forgiveness isn't just about me. It isn't just about my children. It's about my ancestry. Because my mother wasn't the way she was, because she wasn't hatched from an egg. She had a mother who treated her a certain way, and she had a mother, and so on and so forth. Because we're all just human, doing the best we can with our humanness. And when I was able to see it that way and cultivate some compassion, I was able to forgive. And in that moment, I did. And when I realized and understood the magnitude of what was happening, I fell into tears and I lost it. And I just released and cleansed all of it. And that was the day, 51st is the charm, is the day that I forgave my mother for good. And I know this is going to sound weird. I'm not going to lie. I am different because of it. That forgiveness created peace for me. And moving forward, I know it affects all that I encounter. And we look at things linearly. Linearly, it came out right the first time. Linearly, I always trip over that word. it goes out in ripples. So when we forgive and we open our hearts, not only does it affect our upper chakras, not only does it affect the people that we interact with, but the energy goes out and it affects everything. And at the risk of sounding trite, forgiveness is truly divine. So, gratitude, compassion, forgiveness. Do your best to find it in your heart. And when you do, you will find not only joy, peace, and freedom, but you will find the magic of the upper chakras begin to come online. Now, before I go, I want to share one more thing with you. So last week, I was sharing my Ubuntu Girls Guide to Greatness cards. Now, these cards, each of these Ubuntu girls represents an aspect of self. And a lot of these aspects correspond with the chakras. Out of the 15 girls, trying to do this without dropping them all over the place, where'd they go? 4 of them, sorry about that, they were out of order for some reason. 4 of them represent the heart chakra. So I'm not going to go through the tips and the tools and the exercises. There's no time for that. But I do want to read the affirmations, and I want to leave you with them. This is a little birdie, and she says, release judgment and cultivate compassion. Ginger says, love yourself unconditionally. Mermina says, forgive yourself and others. And lastly, Sahara says, show gratitude, even for the suck. So I'll leave you with that. As always, thank you for joining me. Be kind to yourself. Forgiveness is divine. And Ubuntu.